Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. This is, I think, week three of our. So we're on week three of the sprint, and I think people are starting to kind of get it. My goal is I want to get you guys creating videos for your own product or service or your business. In order to do that, I've designed an entire community based upon creating content to drive business. The difference between creating content as a business owner versus creating content as a content creator is pretty vast. Now, the best content creators have a strong business model underneath it. And so, as you get more serious about it in the content creator space, you start changing your approach a little bit. But I'm trying to teach you how to record content as a business owner from Jump Street. All right. And so my goal is to teach y'all the basics of this so that you can start recording your own stuff. The opportunity that's available right now is we have more social media platforms that are popping up by the day. And almost every single one of them, if it's not led by video, is building out a capacity to be led by video. What that means for you as the business owner, entrepreneur, is you have more lanes to engage your audience, more ways for your audience to meet who you are and see that there's a human being behind the brand. Because as we start getting further and further away from the traditional model of television ads, people are starting to push hard against the idea of your basic ads. Like people are skipping them, they're not watching them. And, these companies are spending all kinds of money to make cute, creative, engaging, funny, moving ads for products, and people don't want to see them. They just don't. And so they spend all these millions of dollars bringing all these celebrities and everything. And more times than not, the commercial doesn't land. And they spend a lot of money on this creative, and the return isn't where it needs to be. The opportunity that these companies are seeing is the online space where you can do some more non-traditional advertising. You can do a little bit more non-traditional stuff and get outcomes. And when I mean non-traditional, it means more or less helping somebody solve a problem, giving tips, giving them good information so that they can make an informed decision, and then presenting your product as the solution. Like, or just showing somebody using your product and getting the outcomes that they want without all the other stuff, all the other overhead that goes along with your traditional ad format. And so the opportunity is there. The reason why you guys need to start recording yourself is, if you're a business that's already on social media, that's a good thing. But you have a fantastic opportunity because this stuff is free. Like to create a video and post it online is free. It doesn't cost you anything but a time investment. And I think the thing that people are missing out on is that free time investment. Eventually, once they figure out how to monetize the concept of people posting on their platforms, they 100% will. They will. But so there's so much competition in the space right now. It makes it hard for them to come up with a business model where people pay to post, but it's coming. You already see it on X or whatever, where you pay for their little badge or whatnot, and it gives you engagement. And I do think this probably does a little bit with your visibility and stuff on X. So I'm saying all that to say this. The reason why you need to start recording is all these social media platforms are prioritizing video. And if they aren't doing it yet, they're building out the infrastructure to prioritize video. The reason why video is because videos are easily consumable. You don't have to bring a lot to watch a video, if that makes sense. And so when we're talking about engaging people, you could literally just record a video and they don't have to really turn their brain on or anything, and then it can absorb what you're saying to them. I create all kinds of content. I've done newsletters, websites, social media posts, carousels, all the other stuff. But right now, the easiest one to get into is video if you're trying to get in front of people. All right. So I'm saying that to tell you this. In my community, I have a 3-day sprint, and that sprint is designed to give you an MVV, which is a minimal viable video. And we normally start out with a prompt for the week. And this week's prompt is something you wish your customers or clients knew before they hired you. And so that's the prompt to get your wheels turning in terms of what kind of video you're going to create for this week. I do need to make some alterations to the way that we're doing the sprint, because I took a look at it and realized that despite my best efforts, the sprint and the stuff in the classroom wasn't necessarily aligned. My intention was you would do the sprint to get comfortable, and then you would kind of shift over to the classroom section where I have it more structured out. But I realized in order for people to get the best out of what I'm trying to teach, there needs to be some alignment between what I'm doing in the quick run startup sprint thing and what's in the classroom. And so we're going to be changing what the 3-day sprint looks like to match kind of what is in the classroom. Now, the classroom, I'll be honest with you, it contains a lot of really basic information in terms of lighting, audio, camera placement, and all the other stuff. But then towards the end of it, it goes into the thought process of creating a video. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today and what's different and what I'm going to be changing moving forward. All right. Okay. And so what I've seen is people are watching and they're excited about the concept of, hey, let's do a quick sprint. Let's get the pain of recording your first video over with. Like they're excited about it, but people get fired up. And then as soon as it's time to start rolling forward, typically that's where it gets outweighed with doubt or overthinking and all the other stuff. And so I wanted to kind of change the way that we're doing this. I'm seeing hesitancy to post, and I don't think it's a motivation issue. I think people are excited about it. I'm wondering if there may have been some confusion to start out with. And so I'm restructuring some things. The classroom is where we get our depth. And when I'm talking about classroom is in the content to cash machine school community that's available where you get access directly to me so you can pick my brain as you're creating your first video for your business product or service. But the classroom is really teaching lights, camera, sound, and then talking about how to record and then iterate on videos. Like, so you record it and then how you get better with each video. So the classroom provides depth, the sprint provides speed. What I wanted to do with the sprint is I wanted to get you recording as fast as possible without overthinking it. Because I think that's what happens on that front end. When people start thinking about, hey, I need to start recording stuff for my business, instantly you start thinking about camera specs, you start thinking about what kind of mics, you start thinking about light setups and all this other stuff that does not really matter. Yes, the classroom provides that level of depth, but I want to get you start moving fast so that you can get your first couple of wins and actually get some reps in recording video that you post online. Okay. And so when depth and speed kind of blur together, that's when we start talking about overconsumption. Overconsumption is I'm gonna watch a bajillion more videos about this thing that I already kind of had the basic understanding on how to do. The only thing I'm missing is actually practically applying it. You're not going to learn that by watching more videos. The only way you get that experience is actually going out and executing the thing. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. So the reframe, the classroom and sprint aren't the same thing. The classroom's more like the library. Okay. That's where you can get all the details of what we need to do to execute the thing. It's complete, it's always available. The sprint is the fast lane. This is our execution lane. The reason why I do a 3-day instead of a 5-day sprint is I realize that most people in 5-day sprints around day 3, they start checking out. So we're going to do a 3-day sprint to try to give you a quick win in terms of recording video for your business and recording more like a how do you say it? Contentpreneur as opposed to like a content creator, where you are a person utilizing social media and utilizing content for business as an entrepreneur. Okay. So the sprint is your execution lane. It's narrow, it's time bound, and it's really outcome driven. I'm really not looking for perfection from these early videos, nor should you. This is about getting your reps in and getting the video up and posted and distributed. And the reality is, more times than not, the video that you like the least is going to be the one that wins for you. And that's just kind of the law of recording content on social media. Okay. So the sprint and the classroom serve different jobs and they have different rules. So what's changing is the content in the classroom is going to stay the same. When I start planning revisions to the stuff I've recorded for the classroom, it's going to take time. It's going to be a feedback driven thing where I'm trying to whittle the product down and make it as usable to as many people as possible. Right now, the sprint is it kind of dictates what to watch, what to skip, what to do, and what done actually means. Okay. But it also is an opportunity for you to jump in and get a fast win. Okay. That's what it is. So the sprint outcome is this. I want you to leave with one non-negotiable result. Okay. And by day 3 of the sprint, I want you recorded, reviewed, posted. That's it. Videos recorded, reviewed, and posted. I left out edited. We're not doing editing on this first run. We'll do self edits. We'll edit before we go into camera, but the editing piece, we're not going to include that. I'll include that in a later package because the hang up that people get into, especially when we start talking about editing software and learning the learning curve that comes along with that, is you get hung up forever because I've got so many videos sitting in my editors that I've overthought to the point where it just sits there and nothing happens. Okay. I mean, one of the things is I'm speaking like this is not just on YouTube. This is on my Facebook and my LinkedIn and stuff. Here's the thing though. The reality is I'm recording content here. I'm trying to teach y'all, I'm showing y'all how this actually works. I'm recording this, and this is going to be the video that we use for the weekly sprint to refer to. But there's also good information that I'm going to repurpose this video and use across my social media. So even if I'm talking to an audience of one, I'm still creating it with the intention of utilizing it as a marketing asset. When you start getting into the ego game of how many people are watching or on all the other stuff, you never end up creating something. You end up sitting on the sidelines. More times than not, when you're first getting started, the algorithm is still trying to figure out who you are and what audience to serve your content to. So it is a matter of time. What I'm worried about is utilizing this video as a marketing asset moving forward. And so maybe that's what I'm teaching y'all how to do. So again, sprint outcome by day 3, recorded, reviewed, and posted. If you haven't posted, then the outcome of the sprint hasn't been realized. Right. So with the 3-day sprint, 3-day sprint is a guided path through the classroom. It's not exploring, it's not catching up. It's just following the lane so that you can have something tangible by the day 3. Okay. So day 1, this is your setup and permission. The theme is good enough. Right. Your goal is to remove the hesitation so that you can get into the creator space, get into that creating mind frame. All right. Without overthinking it. This is where we're going to pick the device. This is where you're going to do a lot of the framing of yourself. We're going to focus on killing the obsession with gear. I want you to start with your phone if you don't have anything else. And we're going to lock in one setup that makes sense for you. All right. The idea is we're going to build out the reps and we're going to build confidence before the performance. So the completion criteria, you pick one device. By the end of day 1, it's picking one device, getting your camera set up, getting your location chosen, and framing your shot. That's what we want to do on day 1. Okay. Day 2, this is going to be the basics. We're going to make the video. Okay. So we're going to go with the lighting that just works, the audio that just works. We're going to do simple stability. These are all things that are in the classroom. And we're going to record your first minimal viable video. Okay. And so this is where we're going to focus on getting the lighting, background visual, the lighting, the audio, the camera lined up, you frame correctly, and then getting the minimum viable video. This is also where we're probably going to be doing our scripting here. And I have a breakout of how we do the scripting, and it's all over the classroom and the page, but I will repost it in the comments as well so that you can kind of see what that looks like. And so the completion criteria for day 2, your lighting's fixed, your audio's tested, your stability's locked, and you've done recorded your minimum viable video. Recording is required, posting is optional at this point. Day 3, this is going to review, post, and iterate. Okay. The goal is to publish. We're going to review and iterate. There are support threads where you can get feedback for your videos. The focus for day 3 is we're not tweaking, we're not learning, we're posting the thing. The completion criteria is watch once, fix one thing in the video, and then post it publicly. I don't care how many different things you see that are possibly wrong in the video. Pick one that you want to improve on and post it publicly. And then you share the link in the community. And that's where we can provide the feedback. That's where I can pat you on the back for getting your first minimum viable video recorded. All right. The idea is I want to remove the decision fatigue. There's so many different steps and layers and nuances to it. That's why I normally pick the prompt for the week for you guys so that you guys aren't having to think about what kind of content you need to create. I want to get rid of the decision fatigue. I don't want you to get caught in the cycle of thinking. Okay. And this builds your taking action muscle. It builds your ability to execute. It builds your execution muscle. Okay. And so the sprint is the start. The classroom is where we improve the thing. Okay. So the classroom is really a reference tool. for you to go back and review and figure out your lighting and figure out your audio and stuff like that. It's kind of a refinement tool. I'm constantly adding things to the classroom because there's even now, I just really launched it a couple weeks ago, but there are things that I need to add and sections I need to add in there so that you guys get the most out of it. The classroom is the thing that gets you better. It gives you the framework to do your repetitions. And so we're going to iterate instead of restarting. When I say you watch your video, you pick one thing that you don't like, and that's what you fix. And then the next video, you pick one thing that you don't like, and that's what you fix. And that's it. The idea behind that is a lot of times when we record videos, if we're seeing ourselves talking on camera, when we play it back, we're going to see all the things that we don't like. And you can get in the weeds trying to remove every single thing. So pick one thing that you don't like and fix it, and then record the video again on day 3. Okay. So this is not a pivot. This is just me refining and making sure that the 3-day sprint aligns with what we have in the classroom. Okay. And the goal is having outcomes. We're trying to get you guys to actually start recording the videos and not just watching and consuming more stuff. So the rule going forward is don't skip ahead and execute. The idea is I want to get you guys started recording these videos so that we can have a framework of repetition, a body of work that we can go back and review, and you can watch yourself get better step by step by step. It doesn't come overnight. A lot of times getting comfortable on camera is something that you just got to do. It doesn't happen to you quick. When I was working with Fearless on his stuff, he was a rare client. When I sat there and taught him how to do a live stream and set up his own live stream, he went 100% in, and he said, I'm gonna do 100 days of live streaming. So he shortened his learning curve by a lot, and he squeezed in, a couple years worth of live streaming into 100 days. And because he did that, he shortened that learning curve a lot. Okay. And so that's what I'm asking. But more times than not, most people don't have that. They don't have that drive. Let's review. All right. Day 1, this is when we're getting all of our basics laid out. All right. Like I said, day 1, this is where we're getting all of our basic stuff laid out. Okay. Day 1 is where we're really going to remove the hesitation. We're going to eliminate gear confusion, and we're going to establish good enough as the standard. And so we are getting rid of perfectionism. We're getting rid of gear paralysis, and we're getting rid of waiting to feel ready. We're going to talk about what good enough really means. We're going to pick our device, and we're going to practice framing ourselves in that device. The idea is decision making, not execution. We're going to lock one setup, lock that in, and say, this is how we're going to record this. This is the setup of the camera placement and stuff like that. This is the background I'm going to use. We're going to figure all that stuff out on day 1. Okay. So your actions on day 1 is to choose one device, whether it be a phone or a webcam. I'm partial to webcams, but phones work great. Phones can work amazing. Okay. Excuse me. We're going to set the camera to it. So this is an important step that I kind of left out here. What I want you to do is, regardless of how advanced your camera is, pick 1080p 30 frames per second to start out with. That is kind of a universal standard across social media platforms. Yes, there's 4K content on social media platforms. Your eyes really can't tell when you're looking at it through a screen. Okay. And 30 frames per second is that's the standard for recorded content on social media. Video games, sports and stuff are going to have a higher frame rate, but 1080p 30 FPS, that's what you want to set it at. Turn on your guidelines. Make sure when you have your guidelines on, you're at the intersection of one of the top guidelines. So if it's laid out, and I can't even show you how it looks on this screen, but if we're utilizing the rule of thirds, position yourself at the intersection of one of the top lines at the top and one that's coming down. So right here. All right. You want to put yourself right there. And select one recording location that you guys want to reuse. That's going to make life a little bit easier if you always have one place that you reuse. All right. Looks like your setup's locked in. There's no more gear decisions. We're not recording yet. Okay. Day 2, this is where we're going to create a usable video. All right. And so this is where we're going to be utilizing that prompt for the week to create our video. Hold on one second. All right. Day sprint. Sorry, I had to answer a question here. It popped up in the chat. So, but yeah, day 2, this is where we're going to actually do a simple script for our video and record it. This is really what the goal is. We want to have our rough draft, or it could be our final draft if you really nail it. Okay. But day 2 is about the execution. This is moving from the setup side to where we're going to execute the thing. We're going to remove the concept of, I don't know what to say, and we'll record a complete minimum viable video. All right. So the primary problem solved on day 2 is we're getting rid of the blank page syndrome. I'm providing you the prompt to use. Okay. The prompt is going to be in the HPSA framework, which hook, point, story, action. Okay. So in that, when we're scripting it out, I want to keep it as simple as possible. I provide you the hook / the prompt to start writing, or to start writing your script. Okay. And so like today's prompt for this week's sprint is this. What's something that you wish your customers knew before they hired you? That's your prompt. That's your hook for this week. When you're creating content, your hook is, what's one thing that you wish your clients knew before they hired you? And I want you to kind of play around with that, make it fit your industry, make it fit what you're selling. What's one thing that you wish people knew before they came to you for your expertise? So that's your hook for this week. Okay. We're not writing a script. We're filling in bullet points under each section. A lot of times when scripts involve scripts, then we talk about memorizing scripts and all the other stuff. And that's where people get caught in the mud. Okay. The function of the hook is to stop the scroll. That's what we're trying to do. And signal relevance immediately. Okay. What's one thing that you wish your clients knew before they hired you? We're stopping the scroll and we're giving relevance immediately. We're calling out to one specific problem. Speak directly to you. No intro, no credentials. This is one thing I wish my clients knew. This is kind of the thing where we're going to expand on it. We're going to talk about the question that tied in the frustration, direct statement naming the pain, pattern or interrupt related to the problem. These are all things that fit into the concept of what that hook does. And that's why I'm providing you the hook on the front end so you don't have to think about it. Okay. The hook needs to be one sentence. And if it needs setup, it's not a hook. If you got to preface it and explain context and stuff like that, it's not a hook. Okay. Next. The problem. Hook, point / problem. We're going to create recognition. We're going to make the viewer feel seen. That's what the function of this problem is. We're going to list one problem only and describe the consequences of not fixing it. Okay. What's one thing that I wish my clients knew? And this is why I wish they knew this. Because not knowing this thing is hurting them. It's slowing them down. It's preventing them from achieving the outcomes they want. It's wrecking their HVAC system. It's destroying their car. It's something that is impacting their life in a way that they're not quite sure of yet, but they're going to feel a little bit later on. Okay. One problem. Okay. Why this problem keeps showing up. Why it's frustrating. Why you feel stuck. Okay. We're not offering solutions in the problem section. Okay. And we're not teaching here. All right. Solution, story. This is kind of where we're telling a little bit of a story, or if we're into the problem side of things, this is where we're going to offer our solution. And so our solution here will be, take this step, call me today, book a time. This is kind of where we're offering the solution. So we're going to deliver an immediate value. So if it's one thing I wish my clients knew, this is where you're going to lay it down and say, all right, this is what y'all need to know. This is the guts of it. This is why I've created this video. Okay. And we're going to prove competence through clarity. Only one action. So, let's give, when we're giving them solution, only give them one thing that they need to do. It can be done today. No tools, no funnels, no frameworks, none of that stuff. All right. Let's provide a solution first. All right. And this is the part where we really solve their problem. But only focus on one thing. Don't try to have 1,000 different things. And then the action. This is the next step. This is your call to action, guys. This is where you're telling them what you want them to do in order to engage with you. Okay. So direct the next step, tell them exactly as plainly as possible, make it plain. This is called the call to action. What explicitly do you want them to do? It's aligned with the promise of the video. You can follow for more, DM for a keyword, visit me here, email me. Let's book a time and let's talk. We're not stacking all the CTAs and we're not utilizing a whole bunch of pressure language here. That's kind of what we're doing. We did the hook, problem, solution, action. And so now we're going to do hook, point, story, action. Okay. There's two different frameworks at play here. And I don't want to confuse you, but they're kind of getting muddy here. Okay. So day 2, we're going to eliminate what we say. The prompt is always, that's something I'm going to be posting every single week. Okay. Again, hook, stopping the scroll. That's what that does. We're going to call out one specific frustration. We're speaking directly to you. We're speaking directly to your client, who you're talking to. Okay. And common hook types are going to be a question, direct call out, pattern interrupt. These are going to be things that shake it up. A pattern interrupt is something where they're not necessarily expecting it. Maybe when you start talking, you start midstream of your story. You act like, you've already had the conversation with them and you're just resuming the conversation. Anything that they're not expecting. I've seen people use memes as kind of a pattern interrupt, where they film a viral meme and then they do their own version of it. That's a pattern interrupt. They're not used to it. They're not expecting it. So when they're scrolling, that's going to be something that stops their action of scrolling. Okay. Point. This is going to be the core idea of the video. Frame it as the takeaway up front. This is going to be one clear statement that's tied directly to the problem and the hook. Simple, practical. It's not theoretical. We're not doing that. It's got to be something that is tangible and straight to the point. Okay. The simplest way to fix that is boom. Simplest way to fix that today is boom. We're not teaching yet. It was just making the claim. This is where we're going to add a little bit of context. We're going to give a story of somebody that tried it this way and what they experienced, and then they tried it your way and what they experienced. This is making the point believable. We're going to create a connection and understanding. Story can be a quick personal observation. It can be a common mistake you see repeatedly. Guidelines. The story has to be short and relevant. It explains why your point matters, and it bridges the problem into the solution. Okay. It's not a constraint. It's not a life story. It's not a case study. And if it drifts, we got to cut it short. All right. Keep the story short. Keep the action moving. Last part is the action. Tell this viewer exactly what they need to do next. One clear call to action. Can be done today. It can either be something that they implement themselves or something they reach out to you to do. Follow me for more. DM for this specific thing, especially if you're utilizing some kind of automation feature like mini chat or something on Instagram. When somebody DMs you a keyword, it sends you their landing page or whatever you program it to do. One action only. We're not doing multiple CTAs. One call to action per video. Okay. All right. So we're aiming for 90 seconds or less. Hook, point, story, action. We're trying to keep the hook 10 to 15 seconds, keep the point 10 to 15 seconds, the story 30 to 40 seconds, and then the action, the call to action, 15 to 20 seconds. We want to keep it moving. Okay. So we're trying to knock it out in 1 or 2 takes. Don't feel like you have to get all your words perfect on this thing. The ums and ahs are fine. All right. We're just getting started, is what I'm saying. All right. So day 2 is really about execution. And so this is where we're doing a lot of our script writing and recording. Remember, the hook earns attention, the point earns trust, the story earns belief, and then the action earns momentum. I want you to keep that in mind. Okay. So we're moving on to day 3. And let me see if I have any questions in the chat before I get too far into this. Cool. So day 3 is where we're going to publish the video, and we're going to get used to being we're going to get used to being uncomfortable. This is where you post the video out there, and understand this, more times than not, when you post a video out there, majority of your audience is probably not going to see it. You're just getting past the discomfort of putting yourself out there. But get used to being uncomfortable. We want to get used to the concept of leaning into the area of discomfort, and we're locking in momentum. We're not worried about perfectionism. We're getting rid of the fear of judgment, and we're not getting into these editing and recording loops. We're not going to spend a lot of time revising the thing. We're going to get out something that is good enough and fire it out there. Okay. The mindset shift that y'all got to go through is it's done. Like once you record it and it's roughly where you want it, that's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. The reason why we want to do this is that's the most valuable point. That's the most valuable part of education is the execution piece. And we don't spend enough time executing. We spend too much time in the development or the learning phase. And more times than not, you can overlearn something to the point where you're expert on all elements of it except executing on it. That happens pretty frequently. Okay. So we're going to implement what I call the one thing rule. You're going to, after on this day, once you get your video, once you get your draft video, you're going to watch the video one time. And you're going to pick one thing that you don't like. And then you're going to fix it by recording it. And then you're going to post it. That's it. If you see 10 things, you're going to pick one and improve on that one major thing that's bothering you the most. Okay. This also gets you into working on deadlines that you give yourself, where you have a product that you want to launch. I got to get this video out today. And hey, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Let's get it posted. All right. So watch the video once, fix one thing, and then re-record it and post it. All right. The reason why we do the one thing is it prevents overwhelm and it keeps your momentum moving forward. All right. And it trains you to be decisive. What's important? What is the most important thing? Did my call to action not really hit? Then I'm going to fix that and everything else can go by the wayside. Now, when you choose your one, look at it like this. Let's look at some of the structural things. Is your face clear? Is the camera focused on you? Can you hear every single word? Does the message make sense? Let's start there. And then we start playing around with the other things. Okay. We're going to pick your platform of choice, probably where your biggest audience is. We're not going to do hashtags. We're not going to do editing besides that one fix. Okay. The standard is we want to have it clear, audible, and that's ready at that point. People will watch a bad quality video, but they won't watch a bad audio. So your audio is probably your most important concern. Okay. So day 3, watch the minimum viable video once, apply the improvement, post publicly, and share the link in the community. You'll see where I'm talking about in the community. There's a place for us to post videos. Okay. The reason why I want the community, because it allows me to jump in and hype you up. Shoot. I mean, you made a video. You're a step ahead of most people. Like if you're making videos for social media, you're ahead of most business owners because most people aren't doing it. Okay. And then we get to the idea of what live looks like and what done looks like. Okay. Sprints completed. Now you get a chance to sit back and watch the analytics and see where your video goes. That's it. Okay. Posting's the win. That's what matters. I want you to win. I want you to get your win by posting the thing. Let's post the video. Let's not wait. Let's not drag it out. Let's not overthink it. That's what the win is. I expect you to be uncomfortable. That's the only way you get better is leaning into your discomfort space. If you're 100% comfortable doing the thing, you're not stretching yourself. Lean into your discomfort. And the first video is a starting point. It's not the showcase. It's not the end all be all. It's just the first video. It's the first step. It's your first repetition. We're going to have plenty more. All right. You don't get better to post. You get better by posting. It's not a one-time event. It's an ongoing occurrence. So the sprint starts the habit, the classroom refines the skill, and consistency compounds the results. That's what I got, y'all. So I'm going to be going through here in the classroom and in the community and changing a lot of how I do my wording of the 3 day sprint so that it aligns more cohesively with what we're doing in the classroom. If you have any questions, hit me up. You can either hit me up on the paid community, hit me up on the free community. If you want to get started, don't hesitate. Drop a comment, shoot me an inbox or whatnot, and then we can get started with getting you in the community so we can get you started recording. That's all I got, y'all. I do appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for tuning in. It's been Brian with Content to Cash Machine and Unstuck Sessions. The prompt for this week is something you wish your customers knew before hiring you. That's what we're doing. I will talk to y'all later.